In this video we're going to look at marking file submissions. So in Station 6 you can find this assignment. So Station 6, View All Submissions, and we're going to mark my test account. So if you click on Grade, now you're probably wondering why it's best to have it in PDF. Now the reason why it's best to have it in PDF is that it'll open for instant view on your screen. So here you can see this, and this is particularly useful if, say, the submission requires instead of text some sort of design aspect to it, and when you do annotations you can annotate the PDF here so that the student can see the feedback directly. So you'll see that there's a highlighter option, so I can highlight there. What I can also do is I can put comments. So I might put a comment here and say, you have forgotten W. And then there's whole heaps of other options as well that you can do, including ticks, crosses, happy faces, and vice versa, squiggles, and whatnot. Looking here, so you've got the assignment submission here, you've got the assignment submission here if you want to download it. To grade it, you would look at this rubric, and also click for the model answers. Just to clarify, with your actual assessment, the sample answer should be a lot more descriptive. This is just for the sake of understanding how it all functions. So if we look at this, candidate has reflected on practices, so we're just going to go ahead and say yes. Candidate has provided at least 100 words. We might say no, this was 99 words. And candidate has indicated an area of improvement and own practices, which will say yes for this one. Now what you can also do, actually we'll say yes for all, but what you can also do is next to each of these there's also an option to feedback on each rubric. So let's say that candidate has reflected on practices, you might say you need to include day-to-day practices, not just one-off. Or maybe there's another part, candidate indicated improvement, so maybe you can even do good feedback, well done, you have provided in-depth analysis in this area. So these comments you can add into each aspect of the rubric, and then what you'll do here in the feedback comments is your overall feedback. So your overall feedback might say, good work, feel free to view comments. And then what we'll do is we'll save from here, and I'm going to show you what it looks like as the student. Okay, so the changes in grade and feedback were saved, so the student will get a notification. If we go back to the area, so I'm going to pause this to get the other version for the student view. One moment. So I'm now in the test account again, and we're going to open the submission. Okay, cool. So here it'll only show graded when it's passed. So this is my first attempt. It's been submitted for grading, but now it's been graded. And so let's have a look here. So I've met, and as a student you can see the comment for each one and my overall feedback. Now if I want to view annotated PDF, this is what it'll look like from my facilitator. So as a student, if this was a reset or if it wasn't a pass, I could view this and figure out what exactly I need to improve on in order to get it to the right state. And again, feedback here, and overall feedback here. Now, depending on the assessment task, it's up to you as a facilitator to identify what that would look like. Now let's have a look here. what this assignment would look like. So that was the jigsaw one that we done earlier in the lesson, but we want to look at, here we go. So this is the activity that's just been marked, and as a student, this is what I will see as a green tick. So in 5, that was marked incorrectly and you saw a red cross, whereas in 3, you see a green tick. And that's how to mark an annotative PDF. There is a little bit more to learn on this area. So if we go back here and go back to view all submissions, now you probably were wondering what happens to the reset, or where does the reset go if an assignment hasn't passed. So I'm just going to use Oripa's submission, thank you Oripa, to have a look at that. So if we click on grade on Oripa's, and as you can see here it says reopen, which means that it's not passed, it's been put back into a status where the student can work on it again. So that would be the equivalent of a reset. So if I click on grade, so as you can see here in the reset it hasn't been submitted yet, so you won't see anything. What you want to see though, or what you might see if she's resubmitted it, you'll see her new submission here and her answers here, along with what the grade for each part was for you to review. Now if you want to see the original, you can scroll down and here it will give you an option to view another attempt. So this attempt is attempt number 2, which means that there's another attempt that we can have a look on. So go ahead and click on that. And I want to see what was her very first attempt before this one. So if I click on this option and then click on view. So here's Oripa's very first attempt, and her marker has marked her. So candidate has reflected on practices, and you'll see that the marker's given a bit of feedback here. So that's really good. You'll see the candidate didn't do 100, so she got a no for that, and that probably led to the reset. And then the last part, the comment was made here. So overall for first attempt, Oripa, really good job. And this is how you actually pull up a previous reset. For the student, again, they'll need to scroll down and have a look at what the feedback was at the bottom of their assessment submission. And so that concludes your training for marking this type of assignment.